welcome to Bluebell Storytime. I'm Miss Mandi from the B.B. Comer Library here in Sylacauga, and I'm glad you joined me today. You know, it's getting to be fall. I've noticed the cooler weather and some of the leaves will be changing colors and falling. So I want to share one of my favorite fall books, Fletcher and the Falling Leaves. I want to thank the author, Julia Rawlinson, the illustrator, Tiffany Beek, and the publisher, Green Willow Books, for allowing me to share this book with you. Fletcher and the Falling Leaves. The world was changing. Each morning when Fletcher bounded out of the den, everything seemed just a little bit different. The rich green of the forest was turning to a dusty gold, and the soft swishing sound of summer was fading to a crinkly whisper. Fletcher's favorite tree looked dull, dry, and brown. Fletcher was beginning to get worried. "I think my tree is sick," said Fletcher. "What's wrong with it?" his mother asked. "Its leaves are turning brown," said Fletcher. "Don't worry, it's only autumn," she said. Fletcher ran back to his tree and patted the rough bark. "Don't worry, it's only autumn," he said. "You'll be feeling better soon." But the tree didn't get better. Each day, more leaves turned brown. One morning, the wind blew a small brown leaf off of a branch. Fletcher jumped up and caught it very gently in his paw. "Don't worry, tree, I've got your leaf. I'll fix you." Fletcher looked around, picked a piece of grass, and carefully tied the leaf to a branch. Just then another gust of wind ruffled Fletcher's fur. The little leaf shook itself free and fluttered back to the ground. Fletcher picked it up again and thought very hard. Then he poked the leaf onto a twig and pushed it down firmly. "Now you hold on tight," said Fletcher. "No more flying around." The leaf gave a tiny rustle in reply. The next day a strong wind was blowing through the forest. Fletcher rushed out of the den and ran all the way to his tree. Lots of branches were bare and little lost leaves spun everywhere. "Don't worry, tree, I'll catch them for you, I promise." Round and round and round whirled Fletcher after the swirling leaves. "Leaves, wonderful, just what I need for my nest," said Squirrel. "But these belong to the tree," said Fletcher. "Don't take them away." "The tree doesn't need them any more," said the squirrel, bounding off. "Help, help, the wind and the squirrel are stealing our leaves," said Fletcher. "Leaves, terrific, just what I need to keep warm," said a porcupine, rolling around. "But these belong to the tree," said Fletcher, plucking leaves from the porcupine's needles. "Not any more," snuffled the porcupine, and away he rolled. "Help, help, the wind, the squirrel, and the porcupine are stealing our leaves," cried Fletcher. Suddenly a flock of friendly birds swooped down from the sky. They picked up the leaves in their beaks and poked them onto the tree's branches. Soon the tree was leafy again, and Fletcher flopped down and smiled. "Thank you, birds, thank you," he gasped as the birds fluttered away. He lay looking up through the leaves at the sky and drifted off to sleep. But the wind continued to blow and the branches still danced. The leaves shivered and shook themselves and began to wriggle free. They tossed and turned and twitched and twirled and tumbled to the ground. They brushed Fletcher's ears and nose and filled his dreams with a whispering sound. When Fletcher finally woke up, he couldn't believe his eyes. Instead of a roof of dancing leaves, all he could see were bare branches against the sky. "Oh, tree, I am so sorry," gulped Fletcher. "All your leaves are gone." But then he saw, high in the branches, one small leaf still holding on. "I won't let the wind steal that one," said Fletcher, and he began to climb. He crawled along to the last leaf and held it firmly onto its branch. All day long the wind blew, the branch bounced, and Fletcher held tight. "I'll stay with you, leaf," he said. "Don't worry." But then, with a sudden whoosh of wind, the branch bounced high. With a plip, the leaf let go and fluttered like a little flag clutched in Fletcher's paw. Fletcher looked sadly at the leaf he had promised to save. He carried it carefully down the tree and back to the den. He made a cozy little bed for it and gently tucked it in. But all night long he could only think of his tree, all on its own. At dawn, Fletcher tiptoed outside. The wind had finally stopped blowing and the air was cold. The moon still hung in the clear sky and pale stars glimmered. As he came to his favorite tree, Fletcher saw a magical sight. The tree was hung with 1,000 icicles shining silver in the early light. "You are more beautiful than ever," whispered Fletcher. "But are you all right?" A tiny breeze shivered the branches, making a sound like laughter, and in the light of the rising sun, the sparkling branches nodded. Fletcher gave his tree a hug. Then he went back to the den for a nice, warm breakfast. Great, I hope you enjoyed that story, learning about autumn leaves. Now they're turning colors. They're turning orange and yellow and red and brown, and they're very pretty to look at and very pretty to play with. So I want you to sing this song with me. Now, I've got just some leaves I bought at the store, but you could get real leaves and go outside and sing this. You ready? It's to the tune of "London Bridge is Falling Down." Autumn leaves are falling down, falling down, falling down. Autumn leaves are falling down, down on the ground. Rake them up and make a pile, make a pile, make a pile. Rake them up and make a pile, a great big pile. Jump into the pile of leaves, pile of leaves, pile of leaves. Jump into the pile of leaves, jump, jump, jump. So much fun to do in the fall. So I hope you'll go outside and find you some pretty fall leaves to play with. The next book I'd like to share with you is The Great AAA-OOO by Jonny Lambert. I'd like to thank the author Jonny Lambert and the publisher Tiger Tales for allowing me to share this with you. As Mouse scampered home through the dark woods, he heard a horrible howl. "Oh, oh, oh!" Owl winked one beady eye. "Who, was that you?" "Not I," squeaked Mouse nervously. I thought it was you." "Not I," hooted Owl. "If it was not you, then who is making this awful oh, oh, oh?" Bear grumbled up the tree, disturbed from his slumber by the hullabaloo. "Grrr," he grizzled. "Which one of you made that awful oh?" "Not I," Owl huffed. "I hoot and hoot. Who?" "Not I," squeaked Mouse. "I scritch and scratch, squeak and chew, but never, ever do I oh." Knock, smack, thwack. Moose banged on the tree. "Hey, you up there! Yes, you three! Are you making that horrible howl?" "Not us," grunted Bear. "We growl, squeak, and hoo, but never, ever do we oh." "Then who?" bellowed Moose. "Who?" Closer and closer came the awful oh. "It might be a monster," squeaked Mouse. "Bug-eyed and blue, or hairy and scary," cried Moose. "With big claws and huge teeth," added Bear, "that chomp, gnash, and chew." "Oh, what a mess," hooted Owl. "A monster in our woods? This will not do." Oh! A big one right there. "It's a monster, all right. What will we do?" cried Mouse as Duck, Goose, and Dove landed with a startled quack, honk, and coo. "Quick, get up here," growled Bear, scooping Wolf Cub from the ground. "Something scary is coming and is making a horrible sound." "Do monsters eat cubs?" whimpered Wolf. "Monsters eat everything," said Duck with a cry. "We'll be plucked, stuffed, and roasted, and put in a pie." "A pie!" roared Bear. "Save yourselves! Follow me!" And the animals scrambled and clambered up into the tree. Twist, bounce, bend, branches buckled. The tree creaked, shuddered, and groaned. Then, crack! The animals came crashing to the ground with a honk, bellow, hoot, coo, then a thwack, smack, squeak, and an awful oh! "Wolf, it was you," hooted Owl. "You made that horrible howl. I'm sorry, whined Wolf. I didn't mean to give you a fright, but when I'm alone in the dark, lonely woods, it's really scary at night. Bear gave Wolf Cub a huge hug. There, it's all right. If you promise to be quiet, you can sleep with us tonight. At long last, the noisy woods were peaceful once more. The animals drifted off to sleep with a snuffle, wheeze, snore, sputter, mutter, grumble, coo, mumble, murmur, cock-a-doodle-doo. So they have another sound, something that will probably scare them. Well, thank you for joining me at Bluebell Storytime today.